Hey guys, so welcome back. It's been a while since I've seen all of you, rather, since we've seen over this virtual platform. But um, the reason is that it's allowed me to actually realize where I want this channel to proceed. So one thing is, I want at the end of the day, I want a lot of you to actually benefit from this channel and fall in love with economics the same way I have. So what we're going to do is we're going to have more videos coming, so more content on a regular basis. So the kind of gaps which we've had, we're going to try and limit that. And what this will actually ensure is that a lot of you will start understanding the content which comes out in the future from these videos which you're putting up now. So it's actually going to be a good pattern, a good series to actually follow. I'll also keep the video short. I've heard from a lot of you that the videos are too long, so we're going to keep it short. Now, what's going to be the format and structure? On the weekdays, so it's either going to be Tuesday, Friday, basically Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. Two of these days, we are going to put up two videos, and that's going to belong to a series which is explaining concepts of economics and like improving the way we've understood it till now. So, looking at the existing theories, trying to understand what's better, what can we actually do to understand it better, all of that. And Sundays is where we critique theories, we bring out new theories, challenge economic norms, stereotypes, all of that. That's what we're going to try and do on Sundays. Keep doing that. And the last time I saw was I promised you guys that I'm going to bring out a video on economic philosophies. That's going to come out this Sunday. So stay tuned for that. And this first series, which you're going to start during the weekday, is going to be about macroeconomics and explaining what exactly goes into macroeconomics. So key point here, I'm not going to be going into numericals. It's very formatic. Formatic's not a word, but anyway, it's formula based, simply put. So we're going to look at the concepts, the core ideas, and why we need to study macro. So why we need to study, I'll just give a quick answer here. Micro is the study of economics from the point of view of one unit. So it could be a sector of your, it could be a sector of your economy, it could be a one particular industry, one individual, and that's great. The issue is you can't use that when you're trying to understand how society behaves. For that, we need macroeconomics, and macroeconomics is the study of an economy as a whole. So it's not one person multiplied by 100, it's 100 different individuals behaving, responding, coexisting. That is the study of, and that's macroeconomics. And macroeconomics has numerous fields. The ones which I have enjoyed till now have been public economics, health economics, welfare economics. These are wonderful ideas, and welfare is actually something which is both micro and macro. So that's a tidbit for you. But yeah, let's get into macroeconomics. So, um, this lecture, what I want to focus on is the key concepts of macroeconomics. And there are five terms which I say are the building blocks of macro. And these five terms, in no order of preference. Wait, if I had to name it, like an anagram for it could be CIPSI, CIPSI. Like, yeah, that's one way you could remember it. But consumption, investment, production, saving, income. Income is going to be for last because it's pretty easy to understand and we'll need income throughout. So don't worry about that. Let's start with consumption. Consumption is literally what we consume. So by consume, I don't mean food and beverages. I don't mean my classic Kurkure packet. No, that's yes, that's there. That's for sure. I also include a service. I would include the laptop I buy. I would include a pen. Anything which I consume in any manner, like I use it. Consume could actually be broadened to the term use. Anything I use is what I'm consuming as of now. One thing to keep in mind, consumption. So consumption is that part of your income which you use in a period of time, like in a given period of time, which is around the time you actually got your income, to understand it very simply. And Like I said, consumption is for anything which you are using, so laptops, durables, non-durables, all of that. Now, when I look at consumption, at the end of the day, I'm looking at something which I'm buying from the market and something which I'm using. What is that? What is that product? That comes by the process of production. Production is the definition of production is the conversion of raw materials into a finished good which is used by the consumer. So, and that which is used is the product here. The process is production and the product is product. So production is that transformation of raw material. So the metal ores which we have, when you transform it and make it into a rod, yeah, so that's actually production. That process is known as production. So these are like consumption, production are complementary terms. They go together. They're like a happily married couple. Unfortunately, they also use off each other, which is normal. So next thing we're going to look at is savings and investment. Now, one thing which I've observed, because I have been a victim of the savings investment confusion. So we think for all practical purposes that they're the same because you invest in stocks, all of that, right? There's a big difference. Savings is that part of income which is kept aside to be used in the future. Kept aside to be used in the future. Okay, that's the key term. Investment is that part of your income which is being used to create an asset, to create income, to create something which someone else will use, or yourself, or society. That is the big difference between investments and savings. So I'll give examples so that we can understand it better. The money you put in your bank account, savings. The stocks which you buy from Bombay Stock Exchange, savings. The Bitcoin which you've purchased, savings. On the other hand, the money which you've put into a government scheme which is building a road, investment. If you were a cryptocurrency miner is not MINOR, MINER, the guy who's making it. Yeah, if you're a cryptocurrency miner, you're actually doing investment because you're making a new asset. Like you're bringing about that crypto coin into reality, into existence. So when you do something like that, you're actually making an investment because you're creating something new. Now, the difference here is investment means a lot and means very different when you're looking at it from the point of view of macroeconomics and when you're looking at it from the point of view of English. Investment for macro and what we need to know is that part of your income which is being used to create something else. See, like I said, there's a huge confusion. I still fall for it, but you have to keep drilling it into yourself that investment is that part of your income which you're using to create a new asset, to create money, to create capital. That is investment. Savings is what I'm keeping to be used in the future. So, a question which my dad had asked is an IPO, so initial public offer. So that's basically the stocks which the company first, that part of your company which you're actually selling and giving to the public if they want to buy. Is that an investment? Because it's new and it's a new thing which I can buy. The issue is, I didn't create the company by buying 10 shares of ITC. I have in no manner created ITC, and hence it's a saving, because the fact that I am any dealing in stocks is basically the company exchanging a part of its ownership with someone else. Okay, and that is not creating, it's exchanging, it's selling. Creating is when that company actually made the company, when the chairman, the founder, those guys, when Steve Jobs or someone created Apple, that's when Apple was actually an investment because they created something new, right? And finally, we look at income. Income is income. Income is basically your aggregation of rent, wages, salaries, interest, and any other thing which you earn and which you use for consumption, saving, investment. That is income, right? So, with that in mind, these are the 5 key concepts of macro. We're going to learn about it in every single lecture. You'll hear me talk about these points throughout, and I would really appreciate if all of you guys could go back to the part about investment and savings and hear it carefully, because macroeconomics is based on what we call Keynesian equilibrium, and that equilibrium is based on the idea of investment and savings. So go through the idea of investment savings, read about it. Wikipedia, underrated, truly underrated about certain topics, because you can learn a lot from there and then do your further reading. So to get a base, learn about investment and savings, and the basics which I have laid out, you'll use that for all our other lectures, right? And my final point which I want to bring about is what has been the biggest problem with the way we learn macro and the way the whole society has learned macro over the last 300 years. The issue is we aggregate the behavior of one individual and say that that's how everyone in society behaves. And that's a problem. Every person behaves differently. Obviously, I can't look into how everyone behaves, but I need to segregate. I need to make better divisions to understand macro. And that's what colleges today are doing. Harvard, Stanford, name the best colleges in the world. They are looking at understanding macroeconomics from the point of view of how different groups in society behave and respond to various changes made by the government, by monetary authorities, all of that. That is how we are also going to learn macroeconomics. And a simple example as to why it's important to do it the way I've just mentioned, there's a key concept and this funny idea called savings paradox. The savings paradox in simple means, as an individual, so micro, if I save, so if I save 50% of my income, and like we said, go through the definitions. If I save 50% of my income, I'm also saying that the other 50% of my income I have used for consumption. So I've basically made no investment. Now, that's fine for me. The fact that I have saved 50% of my income to use in the future is great. Think about it, if 100 people do that, and 100 people is the size of my economy here. If 100 people save 50% of their income, no one is spending money for creating a new asset. No one is spending money for creating money. And we go into a rut at the end of the day because we're not going to be creating anything new. It's going to be pretty standard, and society won't develop, the economy won't develop. And that's why the savings paradox literally says on a micro scale, savings is good, on a macro scale, excess savings is bad. So that's why we can't learn macroeconomics from the point of view of aggregation. We are going to learn the macroeconomics from the point of view of how different groups, so could be different industries, could be different income groups, different groups of people based in geographical location, how they respond and behave in society. And that's going to be the foundation of how we learn macroeconomics. So with that, I come to the conclusion of this lecture. Like I promised, a little shorter. And the next lecture, we're going to learn about the circular flow of income. That's going to come out on Thursday or Friday. And on Sunday, we're going to look at different economic philosophies. So stay tuned for that. I'll see you in the next lecture. Thank you.